Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Friday, the 16th of January. Protests against Charlie Hebdo cartoon turns violent in Pakistan. India rejects European Parliament resolution on Italian Marines. And Bollywood gives thrills and chills with weekend release Alone. And now for all the details. A rally organized to protest the cartoon of Prophet Muhammad in the Charlie Hebdo magazine turned violent in Pakistan on Friday. At least 3 people, including 2 journalists, one from French news agency, the AFP, were injured in clashes between police and protesters outside the French consulate in commercial hub Karachi. The condition of the AFP photojournalist, who was hit by a police bullet, is said to be critical. Protests were organized across Pakistan on Friday against a cartoon published by the satirical magazine last month. The Pakistan Parliament had also passed a resolution against a blasphemous cartoon on Thursday. Pakistan has decided to tighten its monitoring on funds received by banned terror organizations in the country. This comes after criticism from the International Financial Action Task Force over Islamabad's non-cooperation in curbing terror funding.
Pakistan Finance Ministry is planning an amendment in the Money Laundering Act to avoid international isolation after the country failed to effectively check the inflow of funds to terror-linked organizations. The new proposal aims at monitoring all domestic and international monetary flow to suspected organizations in the country. It has also reportedly decided to freeze assets worth nearly $16 million from various organizations. Several banned militant organizations in Pakistan, including the Lashkar-e-Taiba, has been collecting funds from within and outside the country in the name of charity, which they later divert for financing terror.
With the entry of a top cop into the electoral fray in Delhi, the battle for the chief minister candidate in the Indian capital is likely to be between a former police officer and a former revenue collector. Our political editor, Smita Prakash, has more in this report.
70 seats of the Delhi Assembly go to polls on February 7th to elect a new government, barely 13 months after the last election that resulted in a hung verdict. All eyes are on the prestigious New Delhi constituency, where AAP or Common Man's Party candidate Arvind Kejriwal will contest. Opinion polls have indicated that the AAP's chief minister candidate, a former tax collector, will have a clear win. But that was before the rival Bharatiya Janata Party had inducted retired top cop Kiran Bedi into the party on Thursday. She's one of the country's most popular social workers and has a stellar record of battling corruption and nepotism.
साथियों, अब मैं मिशन मोड में हूँ। मैं उस और काम करूँगी जिसमें मेरी दिल्ली एक स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट ले, ऑनेस्ट गवर्नमेंट ले, एक्सपीरियंस्ड गवर्नमेंट ले, विजनरी गवर्नमेंट ले, courageous गवर्नमेंट ले और स्वच्छता की तरफ चले।
The BJP has not indicated whether Kiran Bedi will take on Arvind Kejriwal in the New Delhi constituency. The two had been part of the anti-corruption movement 3 years ago that disbanded after the anti-graft bill was drafted. They went their separate ways, but Mr. Kejriwal still has warm words for his former colleague Ms. Bedi.
देखो हमारा स्वतंत्र देश है जिसको जिस पार्टी की आइडियोलॉजी ठीक लगती है वो वहां जा सकता है। आपके अगेंस्ट कॉन्टेस्ट करेगी तो जो भी करे अच्छा है, कोई बात नहीं।
Delhi is a small state in India that still does not have complete statehood, sharing it as it were with the central government that also sits in the capital. So the Delhi chief minister doesn't really wield much power, having to reach out to the centre in most matters. But to win in Delhi is a matter of prestige for any political party, more so for the BJP because it rules the centre. Smita Prakash, South Asia Newsline, New Delhi.
Former Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa has agreed to resign as the chief of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party following his defeat in the elections last week. The party will now be headed by Maithripala Sirisena, the country's newly elected president. Sirisena, who was earlier its general secretary, was expelled after he announced to contest the presidential polls. The new government has also lodged a complaint against Rajapaksa for holding on to power even after being defeated in the election last week. The former two-time president is also facing accusations of misuse of public funds and nepotism. Pakistan police has decided to transfer the murder case of former federal minister Shahbaz Bhatti and assassination attempt on girls educationalist Malala Yousafzai to military courts. The special tribunals were established to try terror-related cases in the country.
The trial of those accused in the murder of former minorities minister Shahbaz Bhatti, which has been hampered for years due to threats from extremist groups, will resume in the newly established military courts. Bhatti, a Christian minister, was shot dead in March 2011 in capital Islamabad for his criticism of Pakistan's controversial blasphemy law. Pakistan government had earlier this week also decided to transfer case regarding the assassination attempt of Nobel Peace Laureate Malala Yousafzai to the Army Tribunal in Peshawar. The teenager activist was targeted by the Pakistan Taliban in 2012 for her campaign in support of girls' education in the country. Another high-profile case the tribunal expected to start hearing soon is the 2013 militant attack on a foreign trekking camp in Nanga Parbat in Gilgit, which killed 9 people. Pakistan Parliament had last week passed a constitutional amendment to allow the establishment of military courts to try terror cases.
Nothing seems to have changed for victims of the Atabad disaster in Gilgit-Baltistan even after 5 years. The Pakistani government announced several aid packages, but it has failed to provide any substantial relief to those affected. Here is a report.
Winter brings no good news to the people of Gilgit-Baltistan. Even as temperatures continue to dip below -10 degrees, it has added to the woes of victims of the Atabad lake disaster. Even though the Pakistan government had announced several relief packages, it has failed to provide any substantial help. The money meant for rehabilitation work has apparently been siphoned off.
बहुत सारे गांव अभी तक ज़ेर आब हैं, उनके लोग बेघर हैं, उनके लिए घर छत नसीब नहीं है, उनके घर के लिए दिए हुए पैसे नामाकूल तरीके से तकसीम किए गए, वो इंतहाई कम होने के साथ साथ प्रॉपर लोगों को पहुंचा तक नहीं.
A massive landslide in Atabad in January 2010 killed 23 villagers and blocked an upstream part of the Hunza River, creating a large artificial lake that left an estimated 30,000 people stranded. Many villages still remain submerged in water, and the displaced continue to brave the harsh winters in makeshift tents.
सर्दी का मौसम तेज़ी से आगे आ रहा है, तो इन हालात में अगरचे हुकूमत ने फौरी तौर पर इक़दाम नहीं किए, फौरी फंड्स रिलीज़ करके लोगों की रिहेबिलिटेशन का बंदोबस्त नहीं किया, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि अगले 1-1.5 महीने में आवाम जो है ना सड़कों पे निकलेंगे हुकूमत के खिलाफ.
The disaster washed away most roads, forcing the locals to negotiate the treacherous terrain, risking their lives.
एक लैंडलॉक कंट्री की तरह एक अलग खुद मुख्तार रियासत वाली सिचुएशन पैदा हो गई है. वहाँ लॉलेसनेस है, वहाँ पे एक्सेस नहीं है, कम्युनिकेशन नहीं है. वहाँ के लोग 25,000 आबादी जो कि गिलगित-बल्तिस्तान का सबसे बड़ा तहसील है, उनके लोग वहाँ पे स्टैंड स्टिल हैं, वहाँ पे फंसे हुए हैं, तो उनको फूड इशू है, हेल्थ का इशू तो मतलब कैटास्ट्रॉफी है, दैट वाज मतलब उसको कहते हैं इंसानी अलमियत तक है. वहाँ डिलीवरी के लिए कोई गायनेकोलॉजिस्ट नहीं है, अस्पतालों में पैरास्टामोल नहीं मिलता है, जबकि उनको लाने के लिए 4 घंटे तो आपको कश्ती का इंतज़ार करना पड़ता है, फिर 3 घंटे आपको कश्ती में सफ़र करने पड़ते हैं. इंतहाई गैर महफूज रास्ता है.
Locals say that the government propped up by Islamabad has done nothing to mitigate their woes.
New Delhi on Friday disapproved a European Parliament resolution calling for the repatriation of 2 Italian Marines accused of killing 2 Indian fishermen.
India on Friday said the issue of the Italian Marines is sub judice and that is being discussed between New Delhi and Rome. The European Parliament in Brussels had on Thursday adopted a resolution calling on India to allow the 2 Marines to return home. Indian Foreign Ministry, however, said the European Parliament should not have made such a move at a time when the Apex Court had already allowed one of the accused an extension of stay in Italy, citing health grounds.
The Supreme Court of India, in its ruling on 14th January, has granted 3 months extension to the Italian Marine Massimiliano Latorre for his stay in Italy on health grounds. And the other Marine, Salvatore Girone, is staying in the Italian Embassy in New Delhi. Under these circumstances, the European Parliament would have been well advised not to adopt the resolution.
Marines Massimiliano Latorre and Salvatore Girone were accused of killing 2 Indian fishermen off the southern Kerala coast while guarding Italian ship Enrica Lexi in February 2012. The Marines claimed that they shot at the fishermen, mistaking them to be pirates, and the incident happened in international waters. India has, however, maintained the stand that the shooting took place inside its marine boundaries and the duo will have to face trial under Indian law. The incident has ever since become a standoff between the two countries, with Italy even threatening to cut diplomatic ties with India.
It was an amalgamation of dance, drama, songs and fireworks as India's southern state of Karnataka came alive with the Hampi festival. Take a look at how the 3-day event left everyone spellbound.
Boasting the rich tradition of Karnataka, the city of Hampi, the capital of the erstwhile Vijayanagar Empire, became a hotspot yet again. The famous Hampi Utsav inculcated a mix of traditional and Bollywood song and dance shows, leaving the audience enthralled. The annual show, which sees participation of artists from across the country, also had international troupes from Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh and Africa depicting their traditional forms this year. The mega extravaganza included colourful flower shows, kite flying, puppet shows, rural sports and fireworks to recreate the grandeur of the bygone era. Also called the Vijay Utsav, it is an expressive forum for maestros to depict India's historic and cultural heritage to the world. The UNESCO had in 1986 declared Hampi as a World Heritage Site to safeguard its historical monuments.
If looks could deceive, she knows how to play her cards right. After leaving her fans asking for more, Bollywood's sultry siren performs yet another act, this time much more scarier. Take a look at this weekend's release.
She seems to be ruling the horror genre of Bollywood for some time now. Dusky beauty Bipasha Basu chooses to give an adrenaline rush yet again with her latest film Alone. Basu, who plays a double role, has debutant actor Karan Singh Grover by her side too. The duo promoted their film in entertainment capital Mumbai alongside the cast and crew. Director Bhushan Patel also joined them. Alone is a story about two co-joined twins, with Basu playing a dual avatar of the ghost and the victim. The leading pair was in capital New Delhi too. Grover, who took 2 films from television, said working with Basu was an awestruck experience.
I was nervous only because I was in awe of her beauty, not anything else. But it's just that when you work with somebody for the first time who you're already in awe, you do feel a little nervous. But she's extremely encouraging and very cooperative.
Basu, who was earlier seen in horror films like Creature, Atma and Ras 3, urged her fans to watch her latest.
It's a fantastic film. It's got a great love story. It's passionate. It's going to scare you. It's one of those films which will entertain you. You get
and it has 2 Bipashas.
And you get to see Karan Singh Grover in films. So yeah, there's just lots. And yes, you guys have loved our music and trailer. So I'm definitely sure that you guys will love our film. Yes. So do come out and watch Alone on the 16th of Jan.
But don't watch it alone.
Do not watch it alone.
Siamese twins Sanjana and Anjana, who are physically and emotionally yoked, fall in love with the same person, Kabir. The man, however, reciprocates to only one of them. The sisters are separated, leading to the death of one of them. Years later, the angry spirit of the dead sister returns to rattle the married life of the surviving sister and Kabir.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. Protests against Charlie Hebdo cartoon turns violent in Pakistan. India rejects European Parliament resolution on Italian Marines. And Bollywood gives thrills and chills with weekend release Alone. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter at SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time next week. Have a great weekend and good night.